Yesterday evening, officers arrested a serving Metropolitan Police officer at an address in Kent in connection with the disappearance of Sarah Everard. This man was taken into custody and remains in custody at the London Police Station.
Hey folks, very quickly, here's an interesting one. Officer arrested in connection with the disappearance of Sarah Everard. If you're in the UK at the moment, you'll maybe know that the authorities have been increasingly concerned over the whereabouts and well-being of a missing woman, Sarah Everard. She pretty much just suddenly disappeared. She was caught on CCTV walking home from her friend's house one second and then not caught on CCTV ever again, which is very weird as we do like our CCTV in Britain. I think we have the most CCTV per square mile of any country in the world. There is an active missing persons investigation ongoing. That's as far as it's gone so far, and now it looks as if a police officer has been arrested for this offence at an address in Kent. I think the Telegraph might want to change their thumbnail for this report because I can't be the only one who thought it was this guy that was arrested based on the thumbnail. Assistant Commissioner Nick Fgrave might want to have a word with the Telegraph's YouTube thumbnail department, which I'm sure they actually have as a department in the Telegraph. Obviously I've used the same image in my thumbnail as well because if it's good enough for the Telegraph, it's good enough for me. Anyway, according to the reports and the Assistant Commissioner here, they make it quite clear that the officer who was arrested was not on duty at the time, which I don't think minimises this in any way, if that's what they were trying to do. And he also says that the thoughts of the whole organisation are with the missing woman's family, which I don't know if is a particularly helpful statement when a member of your organisation has just been arrested as part of her disappearance. They've not released the reason for the arrest or what the guy was actually charged with, and they have also arrested a woman as well for assisting an offender. So they've said what she was arrested for, but they haven't said what he was arrested for. I don't think that's a very good sign, unfortunately. The Assistant Commissioner calls the arrest shocking and deeply concerning because it involves one of their officers. I don't know about you, but I don't really find it that shocking, to be honest, due to the absolute level of power tripping that you occasionally see in some officers, and you can see this in videos from auditors. For example, you've got Live Free and Auditing Britain are an example of two of them that record some of this behaviour. Sometimes the behaviour of specific officers and groups of officers are suggestive of severe personality issues which would not just go away when they hang up their hat at the end of the day and go home. I've seen people getting beaten, wrongfully detained, having their phones rifled, being arrested under the Terrorism Act, all completely illegally and in full view of a camera. And in many cases, complaints are made about the officers and nothing gets done about it. So they're allowed to breach these people's rights in a way that would constitute criminal offences which result in years in prison if a normal person had done it. If I went and detained my neighbour, for example, and rifled through their phone and took their passport, I could quite possibly be arrested for kidnap. I don't know if you've ever tried complaining about the police. You'll be lucky to get a response in Scotland, even if you've sent your complaint by recorded delivery. And in England, the responses usually fall far short of any kind of resolution for the abused person. So if that's the culture within the modern British police, why is it surprising or shocking that some of them go on to allegedly violate the rights of innocent people in their private lives? And I'm not saying this to tar all police with the same brush. There are, of course, plenty of good quality individual police officers out there, and they know full well what is going on within the police. But it's undeniable that many other officers abuse the rights of other people without the fear of consequence because they know there will be no consequences. I've experienced it a couple of times myself. So is it really a surprise that someone who's drawn to the profession of the modern British police is involved in something like this? I'm speculating here, but I cannot help but wonder if the public actually saw the disciplinary record of this officer, there may be a long list of concerning behaviours. It may be that many of those were disregarded to allow him to continue working as an officer. Like I say, sheer speculation on my part, but I think if this guy has been charged with a serious offence, and it sounds like he has, with the way that the Assistant Commissioner was talking there, saying that the family must be anguished and offering his prayers, etc., I think it's only right that the officer's disciplinary record should be scrutinised, and hopefully a conversation can be opened up about the behavioural standards within the police. I'm not trying to say that there was any way to predict or even really prevent this crime or these kinds of crimes, unfortunately, especially in a society where prison sentences for violent crimes are so short. I think prison sentences for violent crimes need to be completely overhauled in the UK. For non-violent crimes, I'd argue that some of the sentences are actually too high, but that's another digression. We do live in a culture where a violent crime isn't really punished in a way that gives justice to the victim. That's if a violent crime has actually been committed here. This is all speculation just now, but the way that Assistant Commissioner was talking, it doesn't look good, unfortunately. And it will be interesting to find out if Sarah Everard was known to this police officer or if something more random has taken place. And also the addition of a woman here, it might add another dynamic which could point towards quite a sinister situation that's just been uncovered here. But saying that, I do sincerely hope that Sarah Everard is okay, and we'll just have to wait and see. Anyway, that's all I wanted to ramble about in this one, folks. Please like the video, subscribe, etc. if you want to support the channel, and leave any comments that you've got about this or about anything I've said down below as well. Cheers, folks.
This man was taken into custody and remains in custody at the London police station. Our inquiries suggest that this officer was not on duty at the time of Sarah's disappearance. At the same time and at the same location, a woman was also arrested on suspicion of assisting an offender. She was also taken into custody and remains so at a London police station as I speak. This is a serious and significant development in our search for Sarah, and the fact that the man who's been arrested is a serving Metropolitan Police officer is both shocking and deeply disturbing. I recognise the significant concern this will cause.